Hello, everyone. I'm just curious how many different countries will join us today. I see already Algeria, Cyprus, and Belgium. Hello, Alex. Oh, I think we have someone from very, very far. Even Singapore came in. Good. I'm happy that you find the time for this webinar. Okay, I see Macedonia, Albania, Greece, Portugal. I see also Ireland. Hi, guys. Okay, so for today we will be talking about GSM and GPRS-A. We will more focus on GPRS-A as it gives a little more possibilities that we will be talking about. Today only presentation, like what the modules are able to do, how they are built, what you can do with them. Tomorrow will be more technical part, so this will be more like going into depth of the programming, of the configuration, what you can do. I will also go into more details regarding the possibilities of how it works, and also maybe if we have some time, we will go a little bit with use cases for you guys. Okay, right. My name is Krzysztof Wojciechowski, and I will be presenting today GPRS-A and GPRS-X. With me, there is Łukasz Woźniak, who will be helping me with all the questions on the chat. So if you have any kind of questions, go ahead, ask. Of course, I would prefer if the question will be related to somehow with the subject of today's webinar, but nevertheless, if you have any kind of question about the weather in Poland, go ahead. We will be happy to answer you. Okay, guys, if you have any kind of problem, like you don't hear me, you don't see me, or you want to say us something important, on the right bottom corner, you have a hand icon with the status, so you have a possibility to say if I should be louder, or yeah, you know, all the stuff that will help you to understand what I'm talking about. And if you already you have coffee, you sit comfortably, let's start this webinar. All righty. So first of all, we will be talking about communication modules. Both of them are mainly communication modules. GPRS-A have a few unique solutions that I will try to talk about in the next hour. And inside there, you will find many, many interesting things. First of all, if you look at the previous hour modules, we have 4 of them. Maybe you know them, maybe not. You will have GPRS, T1, T2, T4, T6. They were different solutions for different problems or different requirements from the market, from our site, and it expanded one by one farther every some period of time. So it was also used as the communication module just for Integra or any other security panel, and then it expanded with the additional zones and analog zones, etc., etc. So this gives you a lot of more possibilities. Right now, we for the last, I think, year, maybe even 2 years, we created one module, GPRS-A, that combine all the possibilities of different modules on market from our side, at least for the GPRS-A. So this one module will take care of all the things that previously we need 3 or 4 of them. So a little bit to talk about what we have on board. First of all, GPRS-A is very, very small. The size is of INT-E. Give me 1 second, maybe I'll have some. Yeah, it will look something like this. So it's very, very small and compact. There is an antenna on this side. that you can see, and the rest of it is on board is very, very small. Most of the spaces takes connectors, to be honest. So as you see on the screen, you will see first of all, from the left top corner, you have APS 412 or 612 connector. This gives you a possibility to connect APS directly on the board and not only give a power supply, but also give information about the status of the battery and AC, etc. So this gives you full information about the power supply of this unit. On the left side, you will see connectors for power input, PSTN line input, and digital temperature sensors. This is one-wired temperature sensors that you can use with this module. About this a little later on. 8 programmable inputs. They are working in NO, NC, and analog. This is very important. So you can use analog signal for any kind of information that you want to transfer to GPRS unit. You have 4 programmable outputs, 2 OC, 2 relays. So you can use this information to control something, for example, garage doors or gates or whatever you want. You have a dedicated AC power supply control input. This is something from older versions of panels. If you connect this AC input directly to AC on the transformer, you will be able to receive immediately information if there is no AC on site. Of course, SIM card slot, self-explanatory, and telephone module on board. Also, you will see that we are using this one, but also you will see that there is also GPRS-A, LTE, and there is a different modem on board there. And of course, on the right top corner, you have the antenna connector. We also designed a new antenna for it, so it's small and increase the gain and the signal strength of the whole module. Of course, GPRS-A, as you saw in my hand, this is just a clean one without any cover, but GPRS-A is sold with the plastic cover, as you see on the screen. So all the inside parts are protected from any kind of short circuit. You have only able to connect to have possible to use connectors like RS-232, TTL, and PSTN, and all the connectors like power supply, etc. There is, as I told you before, there is a GPRS-A. The difference between them is just technology of the modem. So GPRS-A use 2G for the communication, but LTE, of course, use 4G or 5G. LTE technology, depending on the country, how you name it. And yeah, this is only difference. So please take in consideration if you're ordering one or the other, depending on the restriction of your country, or for example, that they will disconnect 2G in the near future. Maybe it will be better to go into LTE. But from what I know, in the European Union, there will be 2G ending, but it depends on the country how fast. From what I heard, next few, maybe even more years, they will cut off 2G, but in general, right now it's fine to use 2G also. Okay, GPRS LTE, GPRS-A and LTE have the same functionality. Only difference between them is just a type of modem, so the communication with a GSM provider. So rest of it is exactly the same. So you have in the monitoring station as the reporting, you can use GPRS or SMS with the GPRS-A. So you have possibility to communicate with almost any kind of monitoring station that supports contact ID and SIA. So you can use this as the control panel audio reporting, because old panels can connect to GPRS-A, and be able to send information by the telephone line to GPRS-A, and from the GPRS-A to monitoring station, you can use SMS or GPRS. It will convert a medium of the communication. Of course, any kind of internal events from the GPRS, violation of the zones, and output status change also can be reported to monitoring station. About the messaging, so the information going to your end user, you can use clip, SMS, and push notification. Push notification right now is most common used. For the last few years, SMS, of course, also quite common use, and clip. Clip is just a call without audio. So if someone called you and hang up before you pick up the phone or just after it, like millisecond, then it means that this is a clip information in very basic layman terms. So yeah, you can also use a clip notification. This sometimes helps with the users that when they receive a push notification from Facebook, WhatsApp, and other communicators, and they can forget about information from most important, so from the security system, then you can also set the clip information that it will call. So they give you a call, you will pick up the phone, see, okay, call from the security system, then you can check notifications and see in the push notification that there is something. This helps especially in the middle of the night or when you're working, and this especially for the end user. About the control, so you can control module, so its outputs, by using a SMS, clip, or from the GX control. So you have three possibilities. Okay, GX soft also. But in general, for the most users, this will be for SMS, clip, and GX control. GX soft is more for the installer. Okay, I won't fight with the presentation. So you can use a clip if, for example, you want to use the module with the entry gate for your company, so everyone can call. You can send SMS. GX control is, of course, mobile application for your phone that you can control and see the status of the outputs and inputs in real time. But also GX soft, so for you as the installer, you can log in, change the configuration, and then remotely also change the status of the zone or outputs to, for example, to test your configuration of the module to be sure that everything works fine. You can also import or connect analog signal to GPRS-A. This is very nifty little functionality. So you can use any kind, almost any kind of analog sensor. This could be heat sensor. This could be a 1 second, because too many notifications on the second computer. Okay, you have a lot of information like temperature, amount of light, leakage. You have a possibility of humidity sensor. Almost every type of analog sensor you can connect to this module, and then you can configure it to give a proper information to end user. So if your, for example, a humidity detector said that 100% humidity is 10 volts and 0 is 5 volts, if you configure it, then end user is able to see that humidity is 75%, not in volts, because in volts for end user it doesn't mean anything. But for him, 75%, it means that he needs to start sprinklers, etc. But of course, you can also add some kind of weight sensors, whatever you want, to be honest, you want to use, you can do it inside GPRS-A, almost everything. In addition to it, you have a possibility to use up to 8 different one-wire temperature sensors. There is a bus for one-wire sensors, and you connect there your temperature sensors, and you can read information from it. Of course, in this case, we supported you with the sensors. in the analog sensors, you can choose from whatever producers you want to use. Okay, GPRS-A, LT. So in addition to all of this gathering information from the sensors, you are able to use this information not only for the messaging for the end user, but also on the monitoring station. But you can use this by using MQTT, JSON, and Modbus, and send it to, for example, server to log all this information, or to combine many GPRS-A in one big system that gives you a full information what is happening on sites or on whatever you wanted to install them. So this gives you a lot of interesting functionality, especially for the sites and clients that are very IT oriented. So this is quite important for them to have the logs, for example, from a server room, or it's very important to have all the logs from last year of, I don't know, greenhouse or something like this. Then you are able to do it on the by using MQTT and other communication protocols. Tomorrow I will try to show you a red note that you can use for the information. I'm not sure if we go into details about how to configure it, because we don't have too much time and webinar can't be too long. But in general, you have a lot of quite interesting possibilities by using this functionality. Okay, so yeah, you can use IoT, so Internet of Things, to combine all the systems, all the GPRS-A, and combine them to work in one big system, and then use a visualization to the different, for the end user, you can use a reports and additional messaging, and also create a big database logs about what is happening everywhere. So this gives you a lot of possibilities in the system. Yeah, for example, one of the possibilities is exactly the create graphic visualization on this by using this communication protocol, and give a full information what is happening inside and outside, for example, a greenhouse. Okay, for all the configuration that you wanted to do with GPRS-A and GSM-X, you can do by GXSoft. This is one software for both of the modules, and you can configure everything what is inside there. And to be honest, you are required to use the software to be able to configure everything inside. But the idea, if you already program or work with Perfecta soft, GXSoft is very similar. Most options regarding, for example, GSM modules, configuration of SIM cards, etc., certain functionality you will also find in the same place in GXSoft in many cases, so it's quite familiar if you already worked with Perfecta. You can use different types of communication with the modules. You can use RS-232 TTL, so you can locally connect to a module and configure it. This, I think, will be your first approach to configure. Then you will have a TCP, so direct connection to GPRS module or GSM-X module. But also you are able to use our SATEL server solution for the easier communication. And to be honest, I will advise to use SATEL server because it's easier. You don't need to have your public IP address. You don't need to send any kind of SMS. You just mark 3 options. And then when you are ready to connect, just press one button to connect from the GXSoft. A few seconds later, you are connected and happy and ready to configure everything what you want. So this is quite also interesting and fast configuration stuff. So you can, of course, by using SATEL server, you can connect by the GXSoft, as we talked a few seconds ago, but also with the GX control. And this gives you a possibility to also use your mobile application from iOS and Android to be able to control and see the status of the GPRS module. This gives you a lot of, to be honest, it's faster. I hope you all, if you already install any kind of our products like INT-GSM or Perfecta or ETHM1 and you use SATEL server, you can confirm that it's quite easy to do and easy to connect. Yeah, so you have a GX control for the mobile as the mobile application to control your system, and by this you can use to control almost anything inside the module. But of course, you have quite big range of the communication going back to you about the status of the system. And for example, if you receive information that there is, for example, some kind of leakage, you can send SMS or you can use GPRS-X, GX soft control to be able to, for example, change the status of the output and start some kind of, I don't know, some kind of gouge, or you can change the status of the valve to close the leakage, etc. So you have a lot of different possibilities inside this module. Of course, you can use analog signal support. So you can use, again, many different solutions, like, I don't know, speed of the fan or any other solution that you want to, and then send this information back to you, and then send back to panel. So control whatever you want. Of course, if something, this is mostly a module as the communication module. So you can connect to it almost any kind of security system to this module, and then receive all the information about the alarm and status, because it's using a monitoring station as the receiver in the GPRS-A. So it takes all the information from the panel to GPRS-A about the status of arm and disarm status, alarm, etc. But also with the full details. If you're using, for example, contact ID, in the details you will have also information about the zone that is triggered as the alarm. So you can then send it to your mobile application with the push and SMS. And of course, you can use outputs in the GPRS-A to control the arm status. So for example, you can arm, disarm, remote. This is quite nifty feature because you can use it with the old security system. So if your client want solution like if you want to control his security system from your mobile application, then, and he don't want to buy new panel with this functionality already built in, then you can use GPRS-A and GSM-X for this feature. And to be honest, he will just pay you for your configuration, and then for GPRS-A and for SIM cards. That's all. So for him, is saving money, and for you, this is happy client that, and in the near future, when he wants something new, you can then install him a proper security system. Okay, so this is quite universal reporting modules. So you have full range of the possibilities. Of course, this is in one case a communication module for your security panel. But if you want to use it as a standalone or with the new additional functionality as one-wire temperature sensors, or 8 analog additional sensors, or notifying end user, etc., and different types of reporting, you have everything of this built in the device. So for you, it will be quite impressive to use it in many different cases. And yeah, I think you will be quite happy to use this in general. Okay, we was talking about GPRS-A. Now we switch to GSM-X. So GSM-X was created because give you a possibility, not only what GPRS-A in the communication, at least, possibilities like receiving information from your panel and send it to your end user or monitoring station. GSM-X give you also possibilities as just a simple telephone line. So if, for example, you connect your analog telephone to GSM-X or any GSM unit in this case, then you will be able to use a normal telephone line, simple as the backup, for example. And this functionality was taken from all our previous modules like GSM-LT, LT1, LT2, and GSM-4 and 5. And we took all this functionality and put it in the GSM-X. So on the GSM-X, you have a few additional functionalities. So first of all, you have 2 SIM cards that you can use, the same as in, for example, Perfecta panel. You have RS-232 connector and mini USB connector. This RS-232 connector is only for the communication with Integra panel or with the security panel. Mini USB connector is used for configuration. On the bottom, you have PSTN line to GSM switch circuit. What it means is on board you have GSM unit, and you can use it as the telephone line, but also you are able to connect PSTN line to this module and use it as the backup, or GSM as the backup, or PSTN as the backup, depending on your configuration. So, for example, you have PSTN line, and every telephone use a PSTN line for the communication. But if the PSTN line is broken or there's some kind of trouble with it, the communication go through the GSM, or the way around. This gives you a lot of possibilities to use it. Of course, you have connector for the APS power supply. Power supply is 12 volts on the bottom. Also 4 programmable outputs and 4 programmable inputs, NO and C. And this is the difference between GPRS-A and GSM-X. GSM-X doesn't have analog zones or one-wired zones. GSM-X is just a communication module. And of course, GSM telephone. There is also possibility to expand possibilities of the GSM-X by adding a GSM-X ETH. This is the expansion module for the ETM connection. So right now, with this additional sandwich part, you are able to use a PSTN line as the first line of communication, then switch to GSM GPRS, so SMS, clip, and push notification. And then you can also use, if the GSM is broken or different way around, you can go to ETHM, so the LAN connection, and then send almost the same information, of course, not SMS and not clip, but push notification sent by ETH. So give you many different possibilities to send this information for end user, but more important, to send this information to monitoring station. So in one word, it's dual path technology, so you can send by different mediums to monitoring station. Some sites require this type of solution as the monitoring station, etc. Yeah, and you just add this sandwich type module on board. Almost the same things goes to board with the LTE, because again we have GSM-X, so 2G communication, and GSM-X LTE is just different module. Okay. GSM-X is sold in the package, in the box. So you will have this white box that you can fit in. On the left side, you see an antenna, and of course, tamper on the right side to protect the box inside. The same goes for the LTE, exactly the same. So of course, there is also space in there to put a GSM-X ETH. to give you additional functionalities. And of course, for the monitoring station, you have many different types of communication. So you can use GPRS, audio communication, Ethernet, and SMS to send this information to your monitoring station about the information that is taken from security system, but so you are able to take them from any kind of internal events, but also as zone violation and output status change. So dual path reporting. So if something happens on site, the panel send information to GSM-X and try to send this information to different monitoring station until it's able to connect and send this information to monitoring station for them to react. As messaging, you can use a voice message because there is a full telephone line, so you can use a voice message. If you have voice communicator, you can use clip, SMS, and push notification that you can send for your end user. Also, there is a possibility to use pager format messages, but I don't know anyone right now who will use this format anymore, but still you have these possibilities. So GSM Gateway does give you a possibility to connect your security system to GSM, and then it depends which one you want to use, or analog PSTN line or GSM network. It will be able to use both of them, or just use one as the backup. So you have a more reliable communication with your monitoring station or end user. Of course, you can control these 4 outputs that GSM-X has by clip, by SMS, by mobile application, so GX control. You can use DTMF because you can call in to module and use DTMF sounds to trigger. DTMF is the sound of the button, so you can trigger it. But of course, you can use GXSoft for the control, but of course, it's more like configuration software in general. Of course, GSM-X supports our monitoring station STAM2. So you can, if you want your monitoring station STAM2 to receive SMS or clip from your clients, then you connect GSM-X to STAM2, and you are able to use it as the gateway for monitoring for any kind of SMS or clip monitoring. Of course, if you connect this GSM-X to Integra, you are able to use a RS TCP/IP reporting conversion, automatic composition of the SMS. So Integra then is able to send SMS and notification from GSM-X, but only Integra Plus. And of course, you are able to connect remotely to panel by the GuardX and DLOTX. But please remember, for Integra, we have INT-GSM unit that is designed to be able to work with Integra. So please, in general, if you have Integra panel, please use INT-GSM, not GSM-X, because INT-GSM give you more possibilities and easier configuration in general with the Integra panel. But GSM-X give you a lot of possibilities like dual path monitoring built inside one module, but also give you a possibility to connect to any other third-party security system and have almost the same functionality. But please remember, with Integra, I will strongly advise to use INT-GSM. This is very important information from the technical department because we receive many calls about this, and INT-GSM give you more possibilities. Of course, we are using GXSoft for the configuration of the module. And of course, you can use different type of communication. You can use a USB, you can use a direct TCP/IP communication with the module, but also you can use a SATEL server that I will advise to use because it's easier, faster. Yeah. About the SATEL server, of course, it's easier for the configuration and more secure than direct connection. But in general, you are able to use it with the GX control on Android and iOS, and of course, GX soft from your PC. Mobile application for iOS and Android again. So to sum all this up, so if you connect GSM-X to any alarm control panel, you are first of all receiving all the information to monitoring station at the dual path. Depends, of course, on the site. But for example, banks and the high level of threat of the security system give you a possibility. They require to use dual path, for example, then you can use GSM-X for it. And of course, you can use this GSM-X as a solution to improve old security system about what is happening on site with the, for example, old security system, and then receive this information as the notification for the end user. But of course, as you can control the security system remotely from the mobile application, of course, by the SMS and all the stuff. So as we explained it before, with Integra, you are able, if you connect GSM-X to Integra, you are able to connect to Integra remotely with the DLX and GuardX. But again, in general, I will advise to use INT-GSM for it. And yeah, so GSM-X is in the essence is just a universal communication module, but give you also a very important few features. For example, dual path monitoring that sometimes is required, give you a possibility to send notification to end user, give you reporting possibilities. It's a GSM gateway, so you can use a simple telephone line as on site as the backup, for example, or the PSTN line. You can connect this module to STAMP2 to be able to receive GSM and SMS and clip reporting from the sites, and give you a possibility to use with Integra panel as the remote access. So give you a lot of interesting opportunities to use it. And the last part is INT-GSM module. This module is only created for Integra panel. This is, if you already install Integra, then you know for sure know ETHM1 Plus module, and then INT-GSM is ETHM1 Plus that works not on LAN communication, but on GSM GPRS. So give you a different type of information. So yeah. So very important few things. First of all, you can use SATEL server for connection. So if you want to connect remotely without needing to put all the IP address, public IP address, and ports, forwarding, etc., you can use a SATEL server for it. You are able to send control by the SMS and receive SMS notification. Clip also with the new version of INT-GSM firmware, you have also to use a clip notification and clip control. And of course, you can use a mobile application for this with the Integra panel. It's Integra control for it. On board, you have, of course, a power supply connectors for the Integra bus. You have also RS485 terminals. This is something that you can use in near future with new panels. But in this case, you can also connect and use a dual path communication with the Integra panel. So you connect ETHM1 Plus to panel, INT-GSM by the RS485, you connect with ETHM1 Plus, and then you have dual path communication. And of course, you can use ETHM1 for the communication and INT-GSM at the same time. RS-232 connector if you want to connect with Integra panel, and of course for Integra panel, and of course you have tamper input if you want to use it to set information about the cover or the box where the INT-GSM is. On board you have also 2 SIM card slots, so you can use 2 SIM cards, the same idea as the Imperfecta in the GPRS module, in the GSM-X module. So exactly, you can use Integra connection with the ETHM1 Plus, and then connect INT-GSM by the RS-485, or you can of course connect Integra directly to INT-GSM, and of course directly to ETHM1 Plus also. Depends how you want to use it. As the reporting, you can of course use it for the monitoring station by the GPRS, by the SIA IP. You can use a dual path reporting with the ETHM1 Plus, and then you can send SMS and clip reporting also, if you want to use it with the monitoring station. As the messaging, you have 3 most common use. It's SMS, push notification, and emails with Integra Plus. So you have a possibility to send notification. A very important part is automatic composition. So you don't create SMS messages or the push messages. They are taken from the event log. So if you name your user, for example, Thomas, and the partition you will name house, it will be information in the SMS and push like Thomas armed partition house. So you don't need to create, for example, if your clients require that you want to receive notification who armed or who disarms system every day, and you have, for example, 100 different users in Integra panel, you don't need to specify every single SMS. You just mark option arm disarm status and partition 1, and you will receive all the information from there without any additional configuration from your side. This helps to save a lot of time. In general, of course, you have a possibility to control. You can use a clip to control with the new firmware. You can use SMS to control what is happening on site in Integra panel. And of course, you can use Integra Control as the mobile application to receive all the functionality that Integra Control gives you about the status. Fully functional Integra Control by the GPRS. So, of course, you have remote control by the DLoadX, GuardX in Integra Control. So again, you have the same possibilities as ETHM1, but by the GPRS, not by the LAN. Additional functions like upserve, so you can remotely update module. You can use a SIM card balance check if you are using any kind of top-up cards in the system, and of course time synchronization by the NTP or by the GSM, so you won't have a problem with the time in the panel if something changes. So to sum this up, most important is remote access with Integra Control for the end user, most common use. You have a possibility to remotely update module. You have possibility to control Integra by the SMS, clip, and mobile application. You have dual path reporting with ETHM1 Plus. So again, if your clients require dual path reporting, then you are able to do it. GPRS reporting, of course, there is also possibility, and SMS push, clip notification, and email messaging by using INT-GSM with Integra panel. Upserve gives you a possibility to remotely update devices. In this case, of course, it's give you a possibility to do it with all our modules like GSM, GPRS, and INT-GSM. But of course, for this, you will need to install Upserve on your server and then send in SMS to module, and in this module will start updating depending on upserve configuration. Okay, to sum it up in a few words. So let's start with the GPRS-A. This is a universal reporting module with interesting possibilities, especially Internet of Things, analog zones, and temperature sensors that you can use control remotely from your phone or from mobile application. GSM-X give you possibilities as the communication module with the dual path reporting if the site is required, but also give you a telephone line that you can use for the audio monitoring, but also to use it in on site as the normal PSTN telephone. And INT-GSM is designed just to work with Integra panel, but give you all the possibilities as the access, as the controlling the system, and all kinds of notification and reporting for the monitoring station and end user, the same as ETM1, but by using GPRS medium in general, in very few short words. Okay, guys, I don't see too many questions. I'm not sure if I explain all of it and it's clear for you, or you just didn't drink your coffee today before. So I don't see any kind of questions that I could answer. So 1 second. Yeah. Ah, I see. What are typical use cases for the GPRS-A? 1 second. Okay. So, to be honest, you can use it almost anywhere. From my point of view, at least, what I see where this device is give you most possibilities is any kind of server room that they require temperature status, if the air condition is working, if the fan is working, if there is no leakage, because also this is quite important for them, if there is no power cut information, etc., etc. This type. This is one field that you can use, and then use all the features like temperature sensors, analog sensors, and Internet of Things. So all the integration with MQTT and all the stuff. This gives you a lot of possibility to use it in as the server rooms. You can use this in the wind farms on every single wind farm. I don't know how it's exactly in English. So give you a lot, you can spread them around this wind farm and receive all the information again in one place with all the notification what is happening. You are able to use it in the greenhouse and receive all the information about the humidity, etc., etc. And end user will have full information on his mobile phone. You can use it on the gates. So you can put it exactly as we have in our company. We have GPRS-A there, and it just, if you call it, gate will open. So everyone who has this telephone, he can call, use a clip, so free of charge, and then gate will open. But of course, you can restrict it for only some users, etc., etc. So there is a lot of possibilities where you can use it. I think I could explain it for the next few weeks about how many, but I think the 3 or 4 of them should be enough, Sander. So you can use it almost anywhere where you require full information going back to logs, for example, on site, or you want to use it as the to control something like gates, sprinklers, whatever you want to, even lights. But also, and I think this is most, it was designed to do it like this, is that just a communication module. So you can connect it to secure any kind of third-party security system, and especially the old ones that don't support mobile remote control and then use it as the new security system, because then you will be able to connect. You will have full event log on your mobile application. You will have a possibility to turn on, turn off alarm, so arm, disarm. You will have information about zone status if you configure it properly. Yeah, you have a lot of possibilities there. So yeah, so this is a few cases where you can use it. Okay, does INT-GSM support LTE? Not yet. We are working right now on this this type of module, so I think should be quite soon available, but not for now. For now, only GPRS. And I don't know exactly date of release of this LTE module, so we'll see in the near future. Okay, this question, you can almost use any kind of analog sensors on the voltage. I think up to 16 volts, but there are quite a big range of them. And how to use scaling, I will show you tomorrow on tomorrow training, because there will be more in depth about this. So you will be able to, I hope I will be able to show you where you can configure the scaling and how it works. So Dean, please join tomorrow on the webinar, and for sure we will be going through this subject. I don't want to, try to explain twice, especially that tomorrow we'll spend a little bit of time on it. Okay. Any more questions? Okay, if not, guys, thank you very much for your time. I'm very happy that you find it for listening to me. Of course, today the biggest help for me was Łukasz Woźniak, and I'm quite impressed that even so many people from Australia and from Singapore join us. Of course, everyone from the Europe. I'm very happy that you join us. See you tomorrow. Please remember that tomorrow we start 1 hour later, so it's please take this in consideration. And for sure, for tomorrow, please bring with you a lot of coffee, because you will need it. There will be a lot of information, not presentation information, that will be more in details, how to program it, how to configure it. Okay, guys, thank you very much. One more thing. If you want to know more of our webinars, at the end of this at the end, you will receive an email where you have in the right bottom corner, as I remember of this message, you will have a button to all our webinars that are done by us, even in Polish, if you like. So please go there. If you don't receive invitation, you can always find there. We are trying every week to create this webinar, at least for the period of time of all this pandemic stuff. So guys, thank you very much. Please take care of yourself, and see you tomorrow. Thanks.